Okay, one row is done with 3 varieties, and I'm just gonna seal up this row with 2 varieties. And potatoes will be planted. It's not the greatest soil in the world. We're down to clay, even though after 4 seasons I've been building soil and building soil and building soil. But it either gets compacted and turned into clay, or it washes away or blows away or something. What do you think? You happy about the potatoes? Whew, okay. Looks kind of wild, but I wanted to cover the rows with hay, and I knew in the wind that we've been having, it would all blow off and it will be down there somewhere. So I'm gonna see if this will actually hold it down. Oh, fingers crossed. The rain held off a little. The storm's coming tonight. I got 2 raised beds full of brassicas, cabbages, kohlrabi, Brussels sprout. Actually, there's no Brussels sprouts. There's kale, cabbage, and cilantro in there. I have another bed in the middle, but that didn't get done because we are having a storm, going to be high winds tonight, and I want to have something left in case all of those go bye-bye. So I have my project for tonight. I'm going to start potting up tomatoes. I have about 145 seedlings, and I'm going to pot up the best ones and see how it goes. Okay, everybody, we're going to go out and see how things fared last night. We actually only got a ½ inch of rain. So I don't expect the, ooh, those look nice and moist. I moved these down to the steps to get some rain because these boxes are underneath the overhang, and unless it's really blowing, they don't get wet. That's not even wet. Wow. Okay. Well, let's go see. Yeah, and they look fine. Oh, look at all the new plantings. Well, what am I saying? There's just this shrub, the arbusto shrub. That's the Lenten rose from last year. Okay. Okay. That's the other arbusto. I don't know if I mentioned this in the clip, but what we wound up doing is, because the maple roots are like a 3-inch blanket here, you could literally pull it up like a carpet, but it's that thick. You know, from these trees, and until I decide to take these trees down, this is my reality out front, is everything that I've planted here dies. Even azaleas, which are drought tolerant. So I put in this, I think it's about a 7-gallon plastic, but it does have holes in the bottom, and I thought, well, the roots can get through there. So I was going to plant it directly in this and then just sit it in the ground. But then I thought, for extra insurance, I put it in this 7-gallon grow bag, put the plant in the pot, in that, and then put that in the pot. So I can literally pull this out and change it and not have to dig it up. We'll see how it does. But that was my ingenious solution. We'll see if the hostas can find their own moisture with all the maple roots. But the Lenten rose did survive from last year, so that's very impressive. Can you believe this? I want to do a whole video on anise hyssop. This had one plant in it last year. It dropped seeds, and now look. If you look in here, there are at least a dozen plants. Just gorgeous. Okay, so somehow this azalea managed to survive, but it's a little farther away from that maple tree. And I'm so pleased that these 2 out of 3 of these lavenders survived over winter. He said cut them back and put them up against the house, which is what I did. One didn't make it. And this one on the corner is farther away from this tree, and it does okay, but absolutely gorgeous. All right, everything's kind of soaking wet, but guess what? The covers stayed on the raised bed, so that means it didn't blow too hard. And also, we'll check on the potatoes. Blueberries are starting to bud out. You see, I thought the wind would just blow all that hay off. So I used this netting that I bought for the elderberry bushes. And it's this piece is 10 by 25, I think. And, you know, it held. Look how grown up everything is. Wow. This is all cover crop on my flower garden. I haven't even started. Let's just take a peek over here and see if anything has reseeded from last year. I had so many tomatoes, sunflowers, marigolds. All I see is vetch, peas, dock. That's all dock. I don't know what I'm going to do about that. Got to come out. Puts down a long taproot and spreads. Good grief. I'm going to have a dock removal day. Oh my goodness. Now you can make a tincture with dock, and I did. So check out that video. It does have medicinal benefits, but you do want to just grow dock, or do you want to grow something else? I don't see any flowers coming up. I don't see any sunflowers, zinnias, marigolds. I don't see anything like that. Okay. All right, we're not going down there. The big garden is just going to have to wait. That's the new orchard. That's the elderberries. That's the vineyard. All right. This is the cistern, just giving you, especially if you're new here, a little bit of the lay of the land. All of the hazelnuts, which were on that whole side slope over there, they were removed because the deer had destroyed them, and they were put on that far side over there, which is going to be protected by a fence. That's what April is all about, is getting the fences all up. But let's see how the ditch did. Let's start over here. Look at that horseradish. Fantastic. And look at all of this. This is primarily dead nettle and henbit. It's the first to bloom, and it's absolutely beautiful, but it takes over. Oh, here we have fleabane. I have a fleabane video, so check that out. Fleabane's just starting to come up. This is henbit, which is a very, very close cousin. Look how close. It's just very slightly different. That's henbit, And this is purple dead nettle. Okay, look at the strawberries. Okay, you saw my strawberry reboot video. I'll put the link up to the left, actually to the right. And so far I just have this netting here. I want to get something more permanent, but this is fine for now while we get everything else together. But if you see in here, it did not get mulched, and there are 10 million little sprouts. So I need to get in here and knock those down. Look at that. Let's see if I can just, yeah, I just need to knock them down right now while they're easily taken care of and get mulch on that. The white flowers are the, let's see, well that's, it's Hill, Montana. Well, some of these are new and some of them were here from last year. Almost that whole side over there is new for whatever reason. Oh, I left my notepad out here and it got rained on. Oh, let's check the onions. Oh, you can barely see them. They better take off. I worked so hard on that. Darn it. I worked so hard down below. My back still hasn't recovered. This has been a complete heartbreak. I had the best asparagus last year, and I made this, I guess, terrible mistake of covering it with cardboard just for the dead of the winter to protect it from weeds. And I pulled it off like a month ago. Beginning of March, I pulled it off and nothing has happened. So, I don't know. Maybe I killed my asparagus and have to start over. Okay, this is the, I don't know if it has a name for it. I just put in these two lilac bushes. They're very different, but these two lilac bushes last year, this one and the one behind it. And what happens is this variegated periwinkle, which is very pretty, has a pretty little blue flower. It takes over. And then you have the native passion fruit, maypop, that takes over later. And then all this other stuff takes over, and the things you plant in here are swallowed up. So here I have my rare Sheffield mum, and I cleaned off all around it so that it can spread and get, you know, going again. And Chase cleaned all of this off, and this is the goal for all of that. And now I have all of that wood chips. These wood chips are been breaking down for 3 years, and the soil is fantastic. So all of this is going to get cleared. Hopefully I can get this wood split. It's been sitting here for a year. Really needs to be split. Let's check on the, if you've just seen the update, you've seen me planting all of these pansies. This is a new addition. The only thing that didn't get planted. And so before I show you the ditch, this is what's left of a full load of wood chips, which was laying here for 3 years. And then last year, for half of it was distributed by Corey with his tractor and put somewhere. I don't even remember. So the rest of it was moved over here. I said I just want it up the hill so it can just be pulled right down to surround all these plants I've cleared out. And this is the Shasta daisy that was given to me by a neighbor. And of course this is a dandelion coming out, but haven't gotten, but I got that cleared off. And this is anise hyssop, and I cleaned off around that. But I don't think there's anything else here that's going to get saved, because the weeds, this is purple dead nettle, the weeds just take over. And so you saw in my video, hopefully oh, there's the really pretty blue flowers. I mean, you know, if you didn't want to plant anything else, it would be a perfect thing to have. This, however, I have to do a video on this stuff. This is so bad. And at the moment, I'm blanking, but it is in the parsley family. And it produces those burrs that get into the cat's fur and gets into the into your socks, and then it gets into your laundry. This is henbit, right beside the dead nettle. So pretty. But it takes over. But it'll be gone, you know, it's just an early spring thing. And I was going to show you one other thing down here. Oh, this is the wild marigold. Has a pretty little flower, but you know, it's a weed, so it takes over. Okay, here's the ditch. This groove was already chopped or formed into this curb before I came here. But I guess with all the things I piled up, what was happening is water was backing up in that part of the yard, and I was just having a little pond over there. So this is just a makeshift ditch to get the water to come off. Obviously, you can tell even with only a half an inch, it's pushing, you know, it's pushing this stuff down. So that's soil and mud. Yeah, ooh, that was not there the other day. This was all just cleaned off. So we don't want to lose our soil and mulch. Okay, but it's doing the job, looks like. Now it needs, I think it needs to go further back. We just, yeah, because see, it's standing, it's moving that direction. See, you can tell it's moving that direction, but it needs, I think it needs more. I think this needs to be dug back a little farther. Let's see if there's any standing water over here. Well, it's, yeah. You've just seen me working on this area over here. I'm going to have a big reveal. Ooh, there's standing water here. Big time. Standing water here. So this, okay. Okay, this is not good. This did not get low enough. But let's see if it's draining. This was the lowest point right here, and it looks like it's still not low enough, but wow, the ditch is working. This ditch was created to keep it from flowing into the garden and washing the soil down the hill. So the garden is, the fences were here before, to the right of this ditch, and I have sacrificed about 7 times 30, 200 square feet of garden just to make room for this grade, this ditch, to get the water out of here. So, do I really want to walk across this mud? I don't know. Okay. Big low spot here. And we knew that because he ran into a huge rock. In fact, the water's having a hard time going over the rock. Look, that is the exposed rock. And it was so big, it goes from there back over to here, there. He couldn't even budge it with his excavator. So, obviously, Look at the, look, he did get this rock out. Look how big that thing is. But the other one was twice that size, at least. All right, so a lot of water's gonna come down here, and I really ought to plant a couple of willow trees right here, don't you think? I think that would be a great idea. Mm-hmm. Well, the ditch is working, for sure, but it's certainly not perfect yet. But at least we're off to the races. Okay. Well, I hope you enjoyed that that little tour. These are the things that you work with and deal with and live with. Work with, deal with, and live with on a homestead. And it has so much to do with where you live, you know. But clearly, this has to be dug out more. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. See you in the next one.